We're rolling. We'll get right into it.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Thank you so much for doing this. I've always wanted to meet you and talk to you. Growing up, listening to you, you are the sound of the Bucs, really the sound of football in Florida. The radio voice of the Bucs since 1989. When you reflect on your time behind the mic for all of those moments, what stands out to you?
Saying touchdown Tampa Bay and touchdown FSU. Over the years, I started doing high school football in Bradenton, Florida in 1971. Did football and basketball for WTRL radio right there on the Manatee River, and came to Tallahassee in 1974 to do FSU basketball, football in 79, and in 1989, WRBQ hired me to be the voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I've been saying touchdown Tampa Bay ever since.
How did you develop your voice? Is it just something that comes natural? Is it a God-given gift, or did you have to work on it?
Well, I can't explain that, but I started debating in junior college, and we won a state championship in junior college, and I thought about law school, and then I said, nah, I don't want to do law. International relations, joined the Foreign Service, and that was tough to do, and started moonlighting in the radio business when my wife was expecting our first child in 1966. And I had a little taste of radio prior to that, and it sort of, I guess if you talk long enough and you get old enough, the vocal cords get a little, more senior, and you develop that sound. Fire them cannons!
With the Bucs off to this dominant start to the 2025 season, including that win, which was pretty dominant in and of itself over the San Francisco 49ers, what is your assessment of how the team has performed so far?
Well, Paul, this is the 50th anniversary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football franchise in the National Football League. It's a special season for every one of us that wear the pewter and red or wore the creamsicle and white back in the day, and those that have been great fans since 1976. This is the 50th anniversary of the franchise. It's something special. And I had this feeling going into this season that there would be a special season for our fans. I'm thinking, how about a Super Bowl victory for the third? I have 3 sons. I only have 2 rings.
People are starting to talk about that early on here. You look ahead to the rest of this schedule. What do you see as the biggest challenges on down the road here and the opportunities for the Bucs to maintain their position atop the NFC South?
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, I can't stand playing a Monday night game and then having to go on the road the following week, and that's going to happen next week. A true test of this Buccaneer football team. With all the injuries, can we complete this schedule coming up in the month of October? You got to go on the road to play a Monday night football game. Fortunately, we gain 2 hours. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. So you fly home, you get home 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you got to get ready to play a division foe in New Orleans. So you got back-to-back away games, only 6 days separate. You got maybe 3 days of practice, and then you got to play. That's the toughest part of the schedule.
Over the last 37 seasons with the Bucs, you've called everything from the early struggles to 2 Super Bowl victories. What's one piece of team history that stands out as the most memorable for you?
Well, obviously, Ronde Barber's pick 6 against the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC Conference Championship and then go to Super Bowl 37. That obviously the number 1 play in the history of the Buccaneer franchise. I'll throw in Matt Bryant's 62-yard field goal in 2006 to beat again the Philadelphia Eagles. I wish we'd have beaten those guys this year, but we did. But those stand out. And I want to tell you something special about that 2002 team that went to Super Bowl 37 and won it. Number one, San Diego is my favorite city outside of the state of Florida. Why? Because my oldest son was in boot camp in San Diego and graduated from boot camp and was stationed in San Diego for 4 years aboard the USS Constellation. And I visited San Diego 7 times while my boy was in San Diego. I love that city, but I love all other Florida cities a little bit better. And we went to San Diego and played the Oakland Raiders and beat them 48-21.
Speaking of past teams, how do you think this current 2025 Buccaneers squad compares to some of the iconic teams that you've covered, like that 2002 championship defense or the Tom Brady-led groups from just a few years ago?
Yeah, if you look at Super Bowl winning teams, the teams with the best quarterback generally win the football game, and or the team with the best defense generally wins that team, and the Buccaneers have benefited from all three of both of those categories. One, outstanding quarterback play, obviously the GOAT Tom Brady in Super Bowl 55. I'll tell you what, don't take anything away from Brad Johnson, because I'll tell you, if you ask John Gruden how he won Super Bowl 37, he'll tell you, Brad the Bull Johnson was my quarterback, and he did everything I told him to do. In fact, if you see Brad give a speech, he begins his speech with a play that's got about 15 words long, but that's how complicated the John Gruden offense was. And Brad Johnson understood that. He understood the offense, and he managed the game and won a championship for the Buccaneers. And then the GOAT, obviously. And back to that 37 season, our defense was the best of the National Football League. You got those Hall of Famers all on the second. They're all defensive players, by the way. All four of those Hall of Famers were defensive players on the Hall of Fame. Maybe we should get Brad Johnson in the Hall of Fame. What do you think?
Well, I tell you what, if I had to say anything, it would be for this personality of this team, it would be just they seem to be calm. Whether it's Todd Bowles, you always see him keep that demeanor, that sort of steely-eyed, calm demeanor. Obviously, Baker Mayfield is calm until he gets into somebody's face, which is at the right moment, kind of fires everyone up. But Mayfield, he's been on fire this season. He's thrown for over 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns through at least those first 6 games. Do you see him as a legitimate MVP candidate right now? I know that Bucs Nation would say yes. I've heard the chants echoing throughout Raymond James of late. What do you think?
You mean they weren't chanting MVP for Tez Johnson after he made that phenomenal catch and flip in the end zone? No, through the first 6 games of the National Football League 2025 season, the most valuable player wears number 6 and wears either a pewter, a white, or a creamsicle color uniform, and that is Baker Mayfield. What a tremendous season he has had.
I've always wanted to ask you this. How did you come up with the phrase, fire the cannons?
I can't go back and listen to tape and see when I first used that term, but I do know this, that when the Buccaneers opened Raymond James Stadium, they had that pirate ship in the corner, and everybody said, what in the world is that pirate ship all about? I mean, who cares about having a pirate ship in a football stadium? When I got home, we played the Chicago Bears, 1996, 1998 it was. We played the Chicago Bears. Dave Moore caught a touchdown pass in that ball game. We beat the Bears. Greg Schiano, by the way, was the defensive coordinator for that team, and I'm glad we beat him. But I digress. But when I got home to Tallahassee, Florida, my oldest grandson, golly, he was a youngster back then, but he said, Granddad, I want to go see a Buccaneers game. I want to see that pirate ship. And it dawned on me then. I said, Mr. Glazer and the Buccaneer ownership and the NFL came up with a tremendous idea. This pirate ship, young fans wanted to see that pirate ship before they wanted to see the football game. And then all of a sudden the cannons start firing. We score a touchdown. They fire it 6 times, get in the red zone, fire it 1 time, score a field goal, fire it 3 times. And I guess we won a big game sometime, and we got a touchdown late. And I said, fire them cannons! And I've been saying that, but I know in 2011, it was 2011, we went to London. We're playing the Chicago Bears. We played, New England first, Chicago, or vice versa. And we're playing at the team hotel. It was the only time I've been able to travel to London and spend the night before the game in downtown London, we'll go to a museum or two, ride the London Eye, and then get ready for the football game the next day. But I ran into the director of marketing for the Buccaneers. I said, I've been saying fire them cannons for a little while now. Fire them cannons. I said, that'd be a great ringtone for Buccaneer fans. And he sort of looked at me like, I don't think so. So I know I've been saying it since prior to 2011, and I can't wait to say it again many, many times. Let's see, 12 times this year so far. Fire them cannons! Let's see if I can do it about 24 or 28 more times.
My 3 favorite words on game day is fire them cannons. I tell you what, I can't think of a better compliment than I know people, including myself, when they go to the Bucs game in person, they listen to you on the radio while they're at the game, because there's no other experience better than hearing your voice and how you call the game, which is completely unique. No one else does it better. No one else comes close to doing it your way. You're like the symphony of football. And I just want to tell you, thank you for all the memories that you've given me and my family over the years. And of course, the entire Tampa Bay region. And thanks for spending a few moments of your time here today with us. Appreciate it.
Well, Well, thank you, Paul, and I tip my hat to Brian Ford, COO of the Buccaneers, because he made sure 2 years ago that you could listen to the game live as it happens on the radio without that 12 to 15 second delay. So fans can now listen. When I say touchdown Tampa Bay, I mean Tez Johnson's doing that backflip of the end zone.
You hear you, and then you hear the cannons go off, and all is right in the world. I really appreciate it, Mr. Gene Deckerhoff. An honor and a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Go Bucs!